The Time-Worn Spire is Destiny 2's first Iron Banner pulse rifle, and this is the second 540 RPM pulse rifle in the game, so this is a pretty special and unique weapon. The only other 540 rounds per minute pulse rifle in Destiny 2 currently is Lincoln Green, which I don't have, but I will compare them briefly just based off stats and perks towards the end of this video. This weapon's perks are Rapid Fire Frame, your choice of tactical mag or accurized rounds, and Zen Moment, which increases stability when you cause damage with this weapon. With Tactical Mag, you gain stability and reload speed, and you also get an extra burst in your magazine. With Accurized Rounds, you gain range. I like to go with Accurized Rounds because I feel range and increased stability from the because I value range like highly, and the increased stability from Tactical Mag doesn't matter as much to me at all because this weapon has Zen Moment. So if you're causing damage with this weapon, you gain stability, so you're kind of negating the drawback of not taking Tactical Mag because you could take advantage of the Zen Moment perk. Zen Moment is a great perk because it means you will pretty much always have increased stability, because if you're shooting, you're very likely causing damage if you have good accuracy, especially first bullet accuracy. I'm not sure what the cooldown time of the buff is, but with this pulse rifle, you're going to be spamming out bursts rather quickly, so you're going to be taking advantage of the Zen Moment quite a lot because you're pretty much going to always be causing damage with this weapon. There really isn't a burst delay like you might see on some of the longer or lower rounds per minute pulse rifles in Destiny 2. For the sight, I like to go with Red Dot Micro because I like the reticle the most, and it seems to give the best stat benefit of the sight options for this weapon. The Time-Worn Spire will deal 18 damage with headshots and 13 with the body shots, so headshots definitely matter, and you will kill in less bullets theoretically if you're only hitting headshots, but I don't think it is worth missing several shots out of your burst to go for that extra damage. Pulse rifles can be kind of tricky to go for headshots with because you can't really control the recoil within the burst as much as you could with like an auto rifle by just like constantly pulling down, or by a scout rifle just by like not shooting constantly and letting your sight reset. With a pulse rifle, it can be kind of hard to get constant headshots, so I just generally aim for like the upper body, and then the first two will hit the body and the third will hit the head, or you'll get 2 crits in one body shot in some situations. So that's what I like to do with pretty much all the pulse rifles in Destiny 2. I just aim like kind of high body and let the natural recoil of the pulse rifle do the rest. Like I said, precision isn't the biggest deal with this weapon because it is a high RPM pulse. You just want to spam out as many bursts as you can onto the opponent rather than lining up perfect shots like you may want to do with a slower pulse rifle. With the slower fire time pulse rifles, your burst delay is going to matter much more, so you're going to have to kill like the optimal time to kill, meaning the headshots, are going to be much more important with those weapons because it'll decrease the time to kill rapidly if you have to shoot less bursts because the burst delay is so high. With the burst delay being so low on the Time-Worn Spire and Lincoln Green, it doesn't matter as much that you're hitting headshots. As long as you're just doing constant damage, you're going to down people rather quickly because you can spit out bullets very quickly. I said I would compare this to Lincoln Green, which is the other 540 pulse rifle, and since I don't have Lincoln Green, it can be tough to compare them because like stats and perks aren't everything. Some guns just kind of feel a certain way, you know? So I'm only going to compare them off stats and perks, so take that in mind. This isn't like my final opinion on these, like the comparison of these two weapons. This might change if I got more experience with the Lincoln Green, or any experience at all for that matter. But just looking at the stats, the Time-Worn Spire has a lot more range, but slightly less stability and handling and reload speed. The stability doesn't really matter to me at all because of Spire's Zen Moment, so it's kind of equaled out there. So you really just get, if you pick Lincoln Green over a Time-Worn Spire, you're really just gaining handling and reload speed, and neither of those perks really, or stats really matter to me at all. I would much rather get range out of the equation. Range is something that's very tangible and very effective, especially with pulse rifles that can be used over good distance. And even though this is a high RPM pulse rifle, you can still use it at a pretty great, not great distance, but a distance that's pretty impressive. Definitely past auto rifle distance in my opinion. So I would definitely go with Time-Worn Spire over Lincoln Green. The increased range is one thing, that's great. And then also the Zen Moment perk is amazing. And in the Lincoln Green slot where Time-Worn Spire has Zen Moment, Lincoln Green has Quick Draw, which allows you to aim down sights faster, which is a nice perk, but I definitely don't value it over Zen Moment, which is one of my favorite perks in Destiny 2 PvP, because generally, if I'm shooting, I'm going to be causing damage, so that's just going to equate to me having less recoil, landing more shots on my target, and likely killing more people. But if you are unable to get this weapon from Destiny 2's Iron Banner event, you could run get the tokens on Earth and turn them into Devon, because that is where you can get the Lincoln Green. You can have a similar experience with the Lincoln Green likely, but I do think the Time-Worn Spire is more effective. Like say the Time-Worn Spire is like an 8 out of 10, Lincoln Green is probably like a 6 out of 10 because range is a stat that's pretty important with pulse rifles and just any gun in general in Destiny 2. So you could get a kind of there, but lesser experience with the Lincoln Green. If you wanted to use that, you can grind for it on Earth, so it's something that's just always there. You don't have to just get it during this Iron Banner event. But if you do have the time to grind the Iron Banner, or if you were able to pick this weapon up during the Iron Banner, I definitely think you should be taking advantage of it, because it is a pulse rifle that I enjoy using. I really haven't used it enough to decide whether or not I like it more than Nightshade, but as it is now, I've only used it a few games, like probably like 8 games or so. I'm definitely enjoying using this weapon. It's no Mida, but it is a fun and effective gun to use in Destiny 2's PvP. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, a like rating was always appreciated. Thank you all for watching.